no idea what I would see when we walked into the most secured building in the entire state, and I was surprised by what I had learned before we came out.
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
Our journey begins with a couple of chocolate milks and a $20 bill. The 20 goes into the register, then to the bank, and then it comes here, along with every other dollar bill and coin used by consumers in Utah and parts of Idaho and Nevada.
We make sure that they have the money on hand to give you the change when you hand them the cash.
This is the Salt Lake branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, in the middle of downtown, the Costco of cash. It's where the banks bank, a major player in the circle of life for our currency.
We touch every single person here in Utah.
Those armored trucks you see on the streets, they're either on their way here with a drop-off or on their way back to the bank with a money order. The trucks enter the reserve from the street, maneuver down a narrow pathway, and are then turned around by a device in the floor. This is where they drop off and pick up. You can literally say the buck stops here. And every bill that is brought in is run through a high-tech processing machine. For security reasons, we did not photograph some employees.
We ran anywhere from 900,000 to 1 million notes a day.
5 days a week, 9 hours a day.
It will determine if money that's brought in is in good enough shape to go back out?
Yes.
Money that is weathered and worn out is shredded and reported to the Treasury. It's replaced by new money from the U.S. Mint. Money that's deemed counterfeit is collected and handed over to the Secret Service. Teresa is one of a dozen workers who spend all day with money.
Has this job changed the way you see money?
In here, yes. In here, it's not valuables, it's inventory. Outside of here, it changes a little bit because you have more understanding of the security features of the notes.
Not only is this reserve the most secured building in the state, it's unlike any of its counterparts around the country because it has 3 vaults on 3 different floors. There's the cash vault,
Where our paying inventory is, all of the fit and the new currency that will be paid out to circulation to the financial institutions. And then we come down to this vault that we're standing in here, which is our coin vault. And then in the bottom vault is where our receiving team is, and that's where all of the currency that comes in the door is verified.
A wall of quarters, right?
Yeah, each bag of quarters is $1,000, so each pallet is $50,000.
Steve has worked at the reserve for 9 years.
When I first started working here, it was kind of surreal, just looking at all of the currency and the coin that we have around, but after a while you get used to it.
And the penny is still the most used of all the coins?
Penny is the most used of all the coins.
So they're not going away?
No.
Remember that famous line in the Jerry Maguire movie, "Show me the money"? Well, let me show you some. This is a half pallet of new $100 bills, $32 million. And there's more, much more. These are 20s over here. In this little room, I'm surrounded by $360 million.
By law, each branch of the Federal Reserve must have a 40-day supply of every note. And though they won't confirm it, we calculated $2 billion in this building alone.
In order to support the economy, particularly if we have a natural disaster or a man-made event, cash is king in those situations, particularly if you lose power, those kind of things. Things like Superstorm Sandy, Katrina, we've learned a lot, and we apply those across the whole Federal Reserve.
The Salt Lake City branch is small by comparison to the other 36 offices around the country. But the state's bustling economy has the ear of the Federal Reserve in Washington, where economic policy is determined.
They do. They listen. Yeah, they want to hear what's working well and how can the policymakers help promote what is working well here around the country, but also how can they further enhance what's working here.
And that brings us back to the chocolate milks and my $20 bill. Thanks to the folks at the Federal Reserve.
We make sure that they have the money on hand to give you the change when you hand them the cash.
Steve can give me my change.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
The Utah branch processes $220 million every year, and it shreds about 8 tons of worn-out money each quarter. They do allow for public tours, and at the end of it, you might get a little small bag of shredded money as a keepsake. But look what we have. This right here is about $1 million of shredded money. And this right here is the ticket to our fortune after
There you
the
go.
show.
It's going to take more than that, I'm
A lot of
afraid,
glue.
Dave.
Maybe some tape.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
cool. It blew my mind about how much money is processed at this place. And then in Los Angeles, they said, hey, look, it's a bazillion times more than here. And you get an idea, there's a lot of cash around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy.
It's like a nice pillow.
We're going to have a long night, Dave.
Hey.
Got a lot of glue, Kevin.
Well, there's a